Hello and welcome to another GCSE revision video, and in this video we're going to be looking at graphing the tangent function. Okay then, well this is the same graph that we've done before. In fact, I'll just show it you. Okay, all I've done is move it a little bit out the way. In fact, I'm going to move it a little bit further out the way to give myself a little bit more space. And I've taken the same table that we had before, and I've just added another column, another row, sorry, which I've labelled tan x. Now we know that tan x, or the tangent of the angle, is just equal to sine x divided by the cosine of x. So all I have to do is divide the sine row by the cosine row, and that will give me the tan row. So we'll start off for 0 degrees, the sine of 0 degrees is 0 and the cosine of 0 degrees is 1. So the tangent is just sine over cosine, which is 0 over 1, which is 0. Now for 30 degrees, the sine is 1 over 2 and the cosine is root 3 over 2. So this is just 1 over 2 divided by root 3 over 2. So that's 1 over 2 divided by root 3 over 2. And we know that to divide fractions we just invert and multiply. So this is 1 over 2 multiplied by root 3. Sorry. No, invert and multiply. So to invert, the denominator becomes a numerator and the numerator becomes a denominator. So it's 2 over root 3. And 1/2 times 2 over root 3, to multiply fractions, we just multiply the top and bottom. So that's 1 times 2, which is 2, divided by 2 times root 3, which is 2 root 3. And then we can cancel the 2 from the top and bottom. So that's just equal to 1 over root 3. Technically, if I wanted to, I probably should multiply top and bottom by root 3 over root 3 to rationalise the denominator so that it's in its simplest form. So that's actually equal to root 3 over 3. In fact, I think I will do that. And be consistent. So this is root 3 over 3. Okay, so 60 degrees then, we've got root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2. So we've got root 3 over 2 divided by 1 over 2. So that's equal to root 3 over 2 multiplied by 2 over 1, which is just 2. So the 2's cancel and we're just left with root 3. Okay, so 1 over 0 is undefined, so we'll leave that in peace. Root 3 over 2 divided by negative 1/2. Well, a positive divided by a negative is a negative, so the sign is going to be negative. And now we've already done this calculation, root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, and that is just root 3. So now for 150 degrees, this is 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2. So the answer is going to be negative. And we've already done 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2, which we've said is root 3 over 3. 0 divided by negative 1 is just 0. Negative 1/2 divided by negative root 3 over 2. Well, a negative divided by a negative is positive, and a half divided by root 3 over 2 is just root 3 over 3. We've already done this calculation. And this one is negative root 3 over 2 divided by negative root 3 over 2. Again, a negative divided by a negative is a positive, and therefore we've just got root 3 over 2 divided by 1/2, which is just root 3. Again, we've done that calculation. Negative 1 divided by 0 is undefined, so we can move on to the next one. Negative root 3 over 2 divided by a half. Well, a negative divided by a positive is negative. And root 3 over 2 divided by a half is just root 3 over 2 multiplied by 2, which is root 3. Again, we've done this calculation already. And then negative a half divided by root 3 over 2. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. And again, we've already done 1/2 divided by root 3 over 2, and that's just root 3 over 3. And 0 divided by 1 is 0. And that concludes our table. Okay, so what I've done is erased the calculations and moved the graph a little bit so that we can see what we're doing. Alright, so we're looking for the tan, and tan of 0 is 0, so we can just mark that as 0. Now root 3 over 3, well root 4 is 2, so root 4 over 3 would be 2/3, which is 0.666 recurring. So root 3 is going to be a little bit less than 0.66666, but not much less. So I'm thinking it'll probably be somewhere around about just a bit over a half, somewhere between a half and 1. So I'm going to put this point here. So now root 3, well root 4 is 2, so root 3 is going to be not far away from 2. So that's going to be way up here somewhere. And then this one is 1 over 0, which is undefined. But we know that as we get smaller and smaller on the denominator, so the whole fraction gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's going to get closer and closer to infinity without ever actually reaching infinity. So this is actually kind of like an exponential curve heading up slowly at first, and then faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And as we get to 90, it's going to get right up to infinity, but it's already gone off the scale even here. Just get rid of that. Okay, so when we get to 120 degrees, we're at negative root 3. So that's roughly negative 2. It's probably about 1.7, 1.8 something. So that's going to be coming back down here somewhere. And then when we get to 150 degrees, it's somewhere between a half and 1. So it should be probably around about here. Now at 180 degrees, the tangent is at 0. So we're looking to join the curves somewhere like this. And now at 210 degrees, it's root 3 over 3, which is about 2/3-ish. Just a little bit less than 2/3. So somewhere between a half and 1 will be enough on this scale. So we're going to curve just a little bit like this. And then at 240 degrees, we're looking at root 3, which is very nearly 2. So again, we by 240 degrees we've pretty much gone off the scale. So let's see if I can try and smooth this out. No, I can't. My artistic ability just isn't up to that standard. I'm going to try. Okay, so we're at 240, we've gone off the scale. At 270 degrees, it's way up towards infinity again. It's not at infinity, but it's constantly getting closer and closer towards infinity. And at 270 degrees, the tangent is undefined. We just don't know where it is. And then at 300 degrees, we're back to negative root 3, which is very nearly negative root 4, which is very nearly 2. So at 300 degrees again, we're back. We're still off the scale, but we're coming back down again. And then at 330 degrees, we're at negative root 3 over 3, which is around about the 2/3 mark. So we're probably somewhere like here. And then at 360 degrees, we're back to 0 again. So we have a repeating pattern, but the pattern repeats in a kind of a strange way. It keeps breaking every 180 degrees, and it keeps breaking, it keeps breaking every 180 degrees. It breaks at 90 degrees, and then it breaks again at 270 degrees, and then it'll break again at 180 plus 270. Other than that, it's like an exponential curve that goes up and up and up towards infinity, and then comes down really quickly from negative infinity back down to 0, and then goes back up again as a kind of an exponential growth curve. Again, if we just type sin x, cos x, tan x into the Google search bar, it will give us a plot of the sin x, the cosine x, and the tangent of x. And as you can see, this shape of the curve is extremely steep. It just comes out of nowhere on the bottom and goes nowhere on the top. Again, the x-axis is in radians instead of degrees, which we've already looked at. So 3.14 would be right here, and that is pi radians, or 180 degrees, and the 6.28 would be here, and that is 2 pi radians, or 360 degrees. It extends the same periodically all the way up to infinity and all the way down to negative infinity. But again, the graph has no definition at 90 degrees, or not really a multiple of 90 degrees, but 90 degrees, and then at 180 degrees plus 90 degrees, and then at 180 degrees, 360 degrees plus 90 degrees, and so on. Okay, I hope you found that helpful. If you are taking your exams this year, I'd like to wish you all the best with your revision and all the best with your exams. And don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in another video.